review. So, oh dear, there we are. You can actually see the bottle. So today reviewing, I think it's from Wales, and I think it's Boss Brewing Black. So this is a 5% seriously silky stout. Camera Champion Beer of Wales. Ooh. 2018 to 2020, so a 3-year champion beer of Wales. That is awesome. SIBA Gold Award winner 2015-2019, Camera Champion Stout of Wales 2016, 17, 18 and 20. Our rich, complex stout binds together a velvety and silky mouthfeel, smoky and enticing roasted coffee and vanilla aromas, plus seductive dark chocolate ganache, toasted nuts and black treacle flavours. God, it sounds absolutely lovely. Aroma is a roasted coffee, warmed dark chocolate. The flavour is black treacle, nuts toasted on the fire. Yeah. Toffee, dark chocolate ganache. Perfect with dark chocolate, strong Stilton of roast beef, strong Stilton. Oh, God, I've had all my Stilton. It'd be nice to taste up the arse and actually have it with some Stilton. So, early beer review. I thought, well, crap. I mean, I did do the Wraggys one earlier, but that was more for just Wraggys. It is an iconic beer, and maybe this year coming, maybe if I get the right kit and I learn how to do grain brewing myself, maybe we'll do collabs, beer community collabs. Now that would be something. Imagine people coming down from all around, or even other local beer reviewers, whatever, coming down and doing a beer collab in the shed. That's interesting. It would be an interesting thing to do. But first things first, I've got to buy all the kit first. So no buying beer for a while, I think. Try and, save up the pennies. So black pour, light tan head, big head on this. Champion Beer of Wales. I've got the funniest feeling that our man Goathead, Dave Fell, who is Welsh himself, actually bought this. I'm not 100% sure because I've gone and mixed all the chuffing beers up, but I'm sure it is. So cheers, mate, if you're watching now or in the future. So there is a hint of treacle on the nose, to be honest. Certainly chocolate. Obviously it's malty. It looks malty though, doesn't it, if you look at it. Temperatures today, I've got the beer room open, I've got no fire on. It's absolutely lovely. I've moved the light. I had to move a light fitting, so my son's new punch bag's gone up on the outside, and he punches it and the hot tub room moves. Yeah, we're going to go in one day and it just collapse on us. Yeah, that won't be nice. It just means I have to put some bigger bolts in at some stage. So nice, easy going. Yeah, the treacle and that is there. It's a little bit nutty. Yeah, right at the back end is when the nuts really do come forward. I can always taste nuts anyway, so I don't know where that comes from. I had an IPA the other day and I could taste nuts. And bloody hell, am I tasting nuts in an IPA? And I don't even eat nuts. If I could eat nuts and there was a bit left in me like a filling, I could understand. But yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? It is a weird one. So tonight, coming back with 2 beers of the year lives, but again, because of my own anxiety, and I wanted to be right, and I know it's a shitbag not being able to comment, but I wanted to be right and do more pure beer reviews, but also let people, if they want to watch the full beer review, watch it, and bring back the Wraggys tap room at some stage, because that to me is more of a chat, just to sit down and just have a chat. Hence me starting to brew homebrew again. I've got the pinter to crack open in the next couple of days. It's been down the shed long enough now so I need to disconnect it from the brewing deck and get it set up and do a pinter review, or otherwise, which will be a Wraggys beer, Wraggys tap room. And the good thing about that is there's plenty of it, and the ABV's been lifted because I put about 500 grams of sugar in. I have no idea what the ABV is going to be. Absolutely bobble idea. So that'll be interesting. And I can't see if anybody's watching or not because I put a piece of tape across the area where both the thumbs and how many people are online, just so that the reviews are, you know, if no one's watching them, you're just going to get a review later. If people are watching, you're going to get an honest live review. And I like live reviews because live reviews, you don't get none of this editing rubbish, and you get the review as it's meant to be. You get, you know, you see it in my face. If there's one thing that for me, a lot of beer reviewers, and me and Dean, are very much the same. We can't give away our love of a beer and also our disappointment with beers. Tonight, I've got 2 out of this world beers to review. I've got Bang the Elephant's Lumiere, an absolutely beyond stunning local beer. And funnily enough, Castle Rock Brewery, their collaboration with Emperor's Brewery, although I'm learning these days that I think it's more that the brewers themselves who do the work, and it's just a bit of dust sprinkled on the top. And it seems to be a common thing across the beer industry, this. So that's quite interesting in that respect. Unless I'm wrong, obviously, as well. You only read what what you see, and what other brewers and people on the internet say. So that's quite interesting. Maybe he does all the ingredients, the recipes. So it's still his recipe, but he's not doing all the graft. I suppose as you get old, it's not easy to graft. Although at Castle Rock, to be fair, the bloke whose recipe was Harvest Pale, he's got to be in his 60s, late 60s, and he's still cracking on in the brewery. He retired and came back, and I shall be wearing a Bang the Elephant t-shirt when I'm doing that review, and I shall be wearing a Castle Rock t-shirt when I do that review. Hopefully it won't go cold. And to see which will be the supreme champion beer of 2021. And then I'm dropping down ABV. There's been some big ABVs this Christmas, and I'm dropping down, going back more. I've got such a backlog anyway, so it's a case of slowing down on the locals, and certainly getting through the absolute backlog of beers to review. Anyway, back onto this. Oh, lovely bite from the on the back end, chocolatey treacle. Don't get me wrong though, it's not a craft beer chocolate, craft beer treacle, that sort of thing. It's more of a traditional, more subtle flavours rather than more in your face flavours, which is all good. Although there's, let's be fair, there are some traditional beers that are still very relevant in this day and age and can easily hold their own against a lot of the craft stuff that's out there. And I'm definitely talking King Goblin and Broadside for that matter. Both those beers are equally as good as most of the beers out there. Would I love to see Broadside on steroids? Oh yes. Could you imagine? Adnam's really on that type of brewery. They're again more traditional, same with Marston's or Wychwood for King Goblin, more traditional brewery. Sometimes I'd like to see these breweries out of their comfort zone and do something big. If there's one thing that Fuller's do with their vintage ales, and that they do like their modern traditional / craft stuff. They also do the traditional, but then they also do them big ABV beers, and that to me is the perfect combination of all three. But talk more about that when I do Castle Rock's beer review later, because that's where they're going with what they're doing. And my appreciation of Castle Rock is beyond. I think they're an amazing brewery. I think they are moving along in the right direction. I'd like to see them use the pilot kit more, but we'll talk about that later. It's not the review for that. But anyway, so oh, that is a lovely beer. Plenty of flavour in there. Still a good-looking beer. Still retaining its head. And the flavours that are coming through. It's a really nice beer. If you're somebody who likes the sound of Guinness or likes the Guinness, but not really ventured into other styles, this is that sort of beer that will take you more on that journey. We all start somewhere, you know, as lager drinkers. The first time you drink a bitter or a real ale beer, you're like, oh God, what's this nasty stuff? And then once you've had one or two that you actually like, then you move on. Beer styles. Once you've took that, crossed that bridge into beers and real ales, then sours, saisons, and then, you know, throughout the whole range of different styles out there, your appreciation goes up. Same as when you first have a glass of wine, you know, it tastes like bloody vinegar. And, you know, but if you start on sweet rosés, go to drier rosés, then jump onto whites, and then jump from whites to reds. Some people are lucky. Some people's taste buds can drink virtually anything. I mean, I'll never ever in my goddamn life touch Sambuca again, but there's a reason for that. I got really ill. Yeah, I'd had about 3 beers, drank half a glass of Sambuca, and wow, next day at work, oh dear, putting beers on the shelf, like, oh God, not even looking at the beer. I'm trying definitely not to smell any beers till about 2 in the afternoon. Then I managed to come round, and I think it's as you get older, it gets worse. I'm sure it is, because when I have a bad, or when I drink too much, one, the wife knows, because I'm slobbering around and all that, and two, the next day, next morning, I feel absolutely rubbish. And I think that's what got me this Christmas, to be fair. There was a point where one morning when I woke up and I had no sleep, hardly any sleep, woke up stressed to the eyeballs, and whether it was drink related or combination, you know, drink, let's be fair, drink is not, as long as you do everything in moderation, is perfect. When you hit it too much and you suffer with anxiety, then it can be a bit of a demon. So then the next day I couldn't get any sleep all night long, and so I wanted to do more lives this Christmas, but I didn't actually get around to doing it. But I didn't want to be an arse and not do lives, hence why I've been doing these lives with no chat, and then putting a sticker on a sticker, sadly, on the things to stop me feeling guilty. It's not working, but it's getting the lives out there. People can see you doing the review, and like I say, you're just getting a you know, a totally live experience, but without the full-on interaction. It's days like this where you get ready for spring again. I mean, we've still got 2 good months of crappy winter to come, but days like this, you come out in the garden, you can see the emergence of greenery, bulbs, daffodils and snowdrops and stuff like that. A bit early for tulips. And then you look at some of the herbaceous plants like sedum and spectre beetles, and they have just started to sprout green. And my hope is to dig a load of them up in the garden, take a load to work, grow them at work in my marquee, and then let them grow for a few months and let them sprout again and keep. And the more you do it, the more they replicate. Life's brilliant, isn't it? Nature. And it's a great way of getting a lot of plants for free, and obviously making my workplace look fantastic, which is, you know, keeps the old brain in good condition. Doing good things, speaking to good people, having good friends, all these things make such a difference. Anyway, rattling on till it's a nice beer. I hope everyone has, you know, if you're going out tonight, I hope you have a great new year out. We're not going out. We've got a takeaway coming. We don't really go out on New Year anyway. One, because I'm not paying to go in any pub. Never have, never will. and but obviously still want to try and support the pubs as best as. So after Christmas, might start getting some draft beer and in me bottles again, and going to certain pubs, Lincoln Green, Castle Rock, and trying to get a, you know, so much a week just to do a little bit for the pubs, whilst also trying to get through all the chuffing beers behind me. It's and before they all go out of date as well. There's a thing, isn't it? It's all right having 300 flipping beers, but if they're all out of date. So anyway, really enjoyed this. Big massive thanks to Dave, Mr. Goathead, for this beer. We'll be tagging Boss Brewing in, and let's hope they like the review. And I apologise for any profanity. Yeah, I can't help myself. It is what it is. So it's a black pour, slightly off-white head, and to me, you've heard what I've said, like, you know, aromas of black treacle. There's a nuttiness in the taste, chocolate. I even got a bit of licorice. But certainly, yeah, nutty. I've said that. Overall, nice tasting beer. For me, a good. I got 4.4. Yeah. Do scores really matter? Not really, no. It was a good beer. Would I drink it again? Yeah, if I came across it. Especially on cask. That would be interesting. But yeah, cheers everyone. And if you're going out, I hope you have a good one. Cheers.